Hello and welcome to Big Friendly Grub. We're back once again. The Renegade Master couldn't be here, but there may still be some ill behaviour. Actually, I hope there's not some ill behaviour because that probably means I haven't cooked something right. Yes, hello, welcome back to another Big Friendly Grub. Today we're going to be doing something quick and simple because it's a lovely day outside. I'm hoping not to spend all day indoors. I've got my shorts on, got my legs out, sun's out, legs out. You've probably been noticing there's been an awful lot of dedicated vegan recipes so far, but no need to get in a flapjack. We're going to rectify that today with, as you might have guessed with that awful segue, some vegan flapjacks. More specifically, coconut and cherry flapjacks. They're going to be great. They're going to be perfect for breakfast, going to give you loads of energy to get the day going. There's nothing else left to do, I think, but to get started. I'm really eager to get going today. I'm actually heading off out later today. I'm off to Brixton Academy later to see the mighty GOJIRA. I'm going to get my heavy metal face on, which is, to be fair, exactly the same as this face. But yes, let's go and get started. Let's go make our flapjacks. So excited! So much energy today, I don't know why. Right, for our vegan flapjacks, or specifically our vegan cherry and coconut flapjacks, we are going to be needing some ingredients, obviously. We can't make these out of nothing, unfortunately. We're not in Star Trek yet, we don't have replicators. So I'm going to run you down the ingredients, but in case you don't want to sit here and listen to me prattle on about what the ingredients are, I'm going to chuck them up on the screen right now. And you can pause this and note them down, or check out the YouTube description, or check out the recipe if you are on the website. Otherwise, I am going to start running these down in case you want to know the specifics. So for flapjacks, they are obviously full of oats and things they're traditionally had for breakfast, because they are full of oats and energy, sugary goodness to get you going through the day. And so we are going to be needing, firstly, whole bunch of rolled oats, or if I were to say that correctly, a whole bunch of rolled oats. Don't know what specifically the difference between rolled oats are or anything else. Perhaps it's just because I can't say rolled oats very well. Try and get the rolled oats, otherwise probably any old porridge oats will be okay, as long as it's not the stuff in the sachets that come with flavours and stuff already. Just try and get yourself some plain porridge oats, rolled oats. Going to need about 400 grams of these. And we're also going to need, because this is a vegan one, we're not going to be putting any butter in this, so you're going to need some sort of vegan butter substitute, which in this case I'm going to be using this vegan spread, which is Flora Buttery. I found this, for me, is probably the best one I've had so far, because it has got that slightly buttery flavour to it. It's not exactly the same, but this is certainly the best one I've had so far. But get what you can wherever you are, whatever area you're in, whatever part of the world you're in. Try and get your best vegan spread, vegan substitute for butter. And that's about it. I don't know where I was going with that. Also going to have some brown sugar in this. I've got light soft brown sugar here. There is sugar going into these. I know a lot of people generally think, oh, flapjack's nice and healthy, but that's half true. I mean, obviously the oats and stuff that go into them are good for you, and if you've got fruit and things in them, even better, but they are full of sugars. The whole idea with flapjacks is you have them in the morning for breakfast. All that sugar and stuff, they'll give you plenty of energy for the day ahead, and you'll burn that sugar off slowly as the day goes on. If you have one of these right before you go to bed, not really the best thing for you, I'm afraid. Soz. We're also going to need some golden syrup. This is just to enhance that sugariness, give it some of that lovely golden syrup flavour. We're not going to use loads of it, it's just to enhance what we're putting in with the sugar and the butter. I think we kind of need this a bit more than you would a traditional flapjack, because we are using the vegan spread here. So some golden syrup as well. If you don't have golden syrup, you could potentially use maple syrup as well. That would be nice. I find golden syrup is better because the consistency helps it bind together nicely. And then we're also going to be needing, obviously, because these are cherry and coconut, some cherries. There's about 250 grams in this packet, but probably by the time we've taken the stems off, taken the seeds out, you're probably looking at about 200 grams of cherries here. We're going to take the seeds out, slice them in half, and add those into the flapjacks. If you can't get hold of fresh cherries, you could use glacé cherries. They're generally available all year round. Find them in the baking aisle. Prefer not to use glacé cherries because of the sweetness, how sweet they are. You're adding in extra sugar that we're not really wanting. But if they're the only things you can get a hold of, you can get those. But I prefer to try and use fresh cherries because it will give it some of that lovely, lovely freshness from the cherries, and the juices will ooze out into them flapjacks as well and give a really, really lovely flavour. We're also going to need some coconut in the form of desiccated coconut. Hold the bag up the right way round. And this you can get in pretty much any baking aisle in any supermarket or any shop that sells food stuff like that. And we're not going to be needing loads and loads of this because it's quite a strong flavour. We want a nice kick of coconut but not overpowering it. We're not making bounties here, although that might be something for another day. If you don't know what a bounty is, it's basically a coconut like filling wrapped in milk chocolate. It's lovely. Not a lot of people like it, but I really like them, and anyone who doesn't like them is wrong. Soz. And lastly, I'm not going to throw this up in the air because it's glass. I'm going to be adding in some coconut oil into our coconut and cherry flapjacks to give it that extra coconutty goodness. This is actually the virgin cold pressed coconut oil. You need the virgin coconut oil because that actually still has the coconutty flavour in it. If you use the refined coconut oil, that actually doesn't have any of the coconut flavour and you're just adding in oil where you don't need to. But this is the stuff that you want. This stuff was actually solid when I bought it, so you can tell how warm it is because it's actually melted, but it doesn't really matter. It makes it actually easier to put into the stuff later. And that's it. That is all we need for our flapjacks. So let's go get started. Follow me. I say follow me, we're just going over here, right here. Let's get started. I almost forgot. You're also going to need something to cook your flapjacks in, and I'm going to be using a metal tin like this. I find metal tins are preferable because when you cook it, the metal actually makes the outside of the flapjacks nice and crispy. I've got quite a large one here with a nice bit of depth. I have already lined it with a bit of baking parchment, and so get yourself one of these. If you don't have one of those metal tins, you could also use one of these, which is kind of a silicone equivalent. Downside to this is that you don't get the nice crisp edges from the edges of this because it's not metal. But the plus side is it makes it a heck of a lot easier to get your flapjacks out of this thing. It's non-stick by nature, whereas with that thing you have to line it. So also good. Now let's really get started. So to get things started off, I'm just going to weigh out some of our ingredients into a nice big pan here because we're going to have to combine everything into this pan. We're going to start off with our brown sugar. So we're going to need about 150 grams of this. I'm reading my own recipe wrong. So pop these into here. Doesn't matter if it's all clumpy because it's all going to melt. Whoa, that's too much. There we go, 150 grams, exactly, just like I planned it. Then we're going to need 250 grams of our vegan spread here, so I'm hoping there's enough in here, otherwise I'll have to get my other tub out. So there's 96, I'm probably going to need the other tub. 150, yeah, I'm going to need the other tub, so that is no worries. I'm kind of doing this a bit more on the fly today, rather than being super ultra prepared. But we're down to earth, that's what we're all about. If you want professionalism, well, go watch Jamie Oliver's channel. There we go. Like I was saying, if you want professional, go watch Jamie Oliver's channel. 255, that'll do. Like I said, we're freeballing it today. 5 grams isn't going to make a hell of a difference. Then we're going to add in 75 grams of our golden syrup. We're using the squeezy bottle instead of the cans or the tins of stuff because this is so much easier. Bloop. And lastly, we're going to put in some of this coconut oil. I don't want to overdo this because this might end up impacting the flavour and the consistency a bit. So I'm going to pop in 25 grams of this. 30 grams. I'm going to pop in 30 grams of this. Oh dear. Okay, we're kind of stuck with that. But again, I don't think 5 grams is going to make too much of a difference, and I will just adapt the recipe. I'm certain that's not going to affect things. Oh dear. I should have pre-weighed that. Never mind. Right, now we're going to take this and pop it onto the hob and gently melt it all together. Right, I have popped our butter, sugar, coconut oil and golden... That is the flapjack tin falling onto the floor there. It was just slid off. live counter. Oh yes, we are certainly candid today, no holds barred. Right, let's try that again, shall we? So we are, without incident, melting our butter and sugar and golden syrup and coconut oil gently over a medium-low heat here. We don't want to have it melt too quickly. We don't want to risk burning our sugar or butter, any of that. So we'll just now let this gently melt together and combine. To be fair, it shouldn't take too long today because it's very, very warm in here, even without the oven and the hob on. You can see that's melting together really, really well already. Right. Just let that come together. Yeah, we appear to be really, really freeballing it today. I know I'm being a bit casual with the ingredients, but I am super, super, super confident that, you know, a gram here, 2 grams here, 5 grams here doesn't make a hell of a lot of difference when you're doing stuff like this. Cakes and things, maybe a bit more so, but to be honest, as long as you're not going like 20 grams over, it doesn't make a lot of difference, you know. Plus, the whole idea of this channel is, you know, I am not a professional. I do make mistakes. I do tend to play fast and loose sometimes with recipes and things like that. I chop and change things, I try things out. And sometimes I just am a bit too casual and over measure things, but this is encouragement for you guys to see, you know, that you can do this as well. You don't have to be super, super professional with things and you'll still get really great results. If you're thinking, what the hell is this guy's issue? Well, I can't have an answer for that. There's many of those, but yeah, we're just having a good time, really. We're having fun with this. This is the whole idea of baking. You want it to be fun. You don't want to have to be a stressful thing, because it's not. There's fewer things greater than having a really, really nice day of baking and making stuff for people you care about. It's one of the best feelings in the world. So that's my little speech over. I'm going to get back to melting this. So you might be able to see that has all melted and combined into a lovely dark, what looks like a really dark caramel colour. You know, you can't really see any of the butter or anything like that. It's all combined really, really well. All the sugar looks melted. It's nice and glossy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the heat, because when we put in our porridge oats, we don't want to do it over the heat because we risk burning our oats, and we do not want to do that. I'm going to move this over here, and I'm going to point this up over here because I don't want to move my camera much more forward because that hob is still hot. I might end up melting my tripod. We don't want to do that. I'm going to take my porridge oats and I'm going to add these into here. Try and get all of them into the pan, and also our desiccated coconut. Add that in as well, and then we are just going to fold all of that into our sugary, buttery mixture. Try and get every single oat coated. Oated. Haha, get it? Sorry. Right, that looks like everything's coated. You can see they've got a nice, bit more tans now, let's say. All the oats are looking a bit more like they've caught the sun a bit browner. That's because they're covered in that butter and sugar and golden syrup, and it looks lovely. Smells lovely as well. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop in our cherries to mix those through. Just adding in our cherries now because it will start to bruise those cherries. We'll start squeezing some of the juice out of them as well to mix in with everything. Might even break them up a bit, which is no bad thing. And remember, this isn't my recipe, this is your recipe, because you might think, I want some more cherries in there. And what do? You add some more cherries in there. That is what you do. And you might think, actually, I want more coconut in there. So you add more desiccated coconut. It truly is up to you. I'm just giving you a base to work off of. Just going to actually do that a bit more vigorously, see if I can get some more of those cherries in there, all combined. Actually going to break them up a bit more. I'm going to be a bit more vigorous. Really want to get some of that cherry juice out of there and into that flapjack mixture. So I can see a bit more reddish tinges coming in there, and that's going to be that cherry juice flavour. Right, that definitely looks good to me now. So I'm going to take this and we're going to get it into our tin. I've got our tin out and we're going to just want to get this into our tin, try and evenly distribute as much of those cherries and everything throughout this. So looks like a lot, but we're really going to compact this down into the tin because obviously we want it to all stick together. We've all got to stick together. I don't know why I sang that. I don't know if that's an actual song. Perhaps it should be. Maybe I'll write it. Maybe I won't. I can't sing. I can't write songs. I have no musical talent whatsoever. You might see the keyboard over in the corner. To be honest, I can barely play it. I'm trying to learn. Right, we will spread all of this out into the tin. Try and get into all of those corners. Try and spread out some of those cherries. Get that all nice and pressed down. If you want a handy tip for pressing things down, which I'm guessing you do because you're on a baking recipe instructional video, is you might want to just get a glass, bottom of a glass, and press everything down like that, because that really allows you to press everything down nice and evenly. There we go, that's pressed that all down quite nicely. So we're just going to now get this into the oven. I've preheated the oven at 180 degrees. I will put down the conversions to Fahrenheit and gas mark into the recipe or down below in the YouTube description. And we will give these about 20 minutes in the oven and then we will come back. Oh, it's quite heavy. There we go, we'll see you in about 20 minutes. Hello, while that batch is actually baking, I realised I had enough stuff left over to do a second batch, so that is what I'm doing right now. But on this batch, I am actually going to chop these cherries up finer than the last batch, because I want to show you that you can vary it up, you can do different things with these. So I'm going to roughly chop these. It's going to look like a bit of a massacre with all the cherry juice. It's going to get everywhere. I'm try and get it not over my clothes. But just roughly chop these up because this will get more of the juices out when we mix it into the other batch later. I won't go through all those steps again. It'll be exactly the same pretty much. These will just be chopped finer. We'll also be going into a slightly smaller pan because I have used my biggest pan on that batch. But you'll be able to see that we can adapt this recipe as you like. That's what it's all about. Baking is about experimenting because it is partially a science as well as an art. So that's all pretty good, roughly chopped to me, all different shapes and sizes. So I am going to crack on and carry on with this batch, and we will see you in about 15 minutes because it's been about 5 minutes since that last batch was in the oven, and we'll see you then. Right, our flapjacks have had a good 20 minutes in the oven, and I am just going to take these out now, being very careful. Oh, there we go, those look lovely. And I'm just going to pop in now the second batch you saw me making earlier with the more finely chopped cherries. So they're going to go in for probably about the same amount of time, maybe a little bit longer because the pan is a little bit deeper, or rather the mixture is a bit higher. Now with these, I'm going to take this, I'm going to take my R2-D2 glove off. Now with these you can see have now browned up nicely. It's got that lovely golden colour you would expect from flapjacks, and you can see around the edges they've gone quite nice and crisp and slightly browner, which is great. That's what we want. Now what we're going to need to do is I'm going to need to find my knife. Hold on. So with these, while it's still hot and warm from out the oven, we're just going to want to score these, because when you try and cut these later, they're going to be a right pain because they'll have firmed up so much. So you want to just do some scoring right now for about how you want them. So I'm going to go roughly like this, because we are going to leave these to cool completely, but we want some sort of guide to help us cut later. So there we go. You can see we've got some rough cuts in there. Doesn't have to be exact. Like I said, they're not even, but that doesn't matter. Someone here is going to be really lucky and get a nice big flapjack. But we're getting 12 out of this. We should get about the same amount out of the other one. So in total, you know, we're going to have 24 here, but that's literally doubling the recipe. So your standard recipe, doing this once, will get you about 12 flapjacks. More if you do them smaller, fewer if you want some really huge ones. It's kind of up to you. So I'm now going to leave this to cool. I might even put it in the fridge because it is so warm today. And then I will do exactly the same step later for when our other batch comes out. Otherwise, I will see you later for when these have completely cooled. We'll see you in a while.
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new one.
Right. Ooh, oh, that was very high. Right, so it has been X amount of time, to be honest. I've lost count, but these have now cooled down. They've spent some time in the fridge just to help accelerate things, but for the most part they've been at room temperature. So I am going to try and get these out. So you can see they've still got the score marks we made earlier, which will hopefully help us cut them once they're out of the tin. So I'm going to try and do that first. So best way I'm going to do this is pop this over here. It's slightly larger than the tin, but that's fine. So that comes out. We take this away. It's a little bit greasy because of the butter we used. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this chopping board that I used for chopping the cherries earlier. It is now nice and clean. To turn this back over. And then I'm just going to go back down these score marks to chop our flapjacks out. You see they look nice and set. So those are all cut out. Let's take a look at one. Let's take a look at one of the ones from the edges. So, oh, that cherry's decided to escape, but that's fine. But you can see, looks nice and gooey. It might still be a little bit warm, but it's a warm day today, so it's probably taking a little bit longer to set than usual. But otherwise, they look very, very nice, and probably by the time I take these into work tomorrow, they will be completely set. So I'm going to take these and I'm going to go stack them up into a nice thumbnail shot to internets, for the YouTubes, and I might have to give one a go. I mean, one less for tomorrow for work, but that's fine. They don't have to know, at least until after they've watched this. So I'll see you in a mo. Oh, hi there. Fancy seeing you here. I know what you're thinking. Wow, he looks really sweaty. And you'd be right. But I know you're also thinking, that's a man who's got a nice big stack of vegan cherry and coconut flapjacks. And you'd also be right. Yeah, sorry, I don't know why I did that. Yes, indeed, I do have a nice stack of vegan cherry and coconut flapjacks right over here. And let me see if I can bring him a bit closer. Don't mind me. Oh, hi. Look at those. Yep, they look really, really nice. Sorry for the shaky camera work. I'm hoping to get something that will allow me to shoot stuff like this a bit easier. But for now, I have to just pop my camera onto the tripod and wave it around like this. But yep, they're looking really nice. I'm going to bring you back over here now. Trying not to see my incredibly messy tops and things. So those are looking really, really good. On a day like today, you probably do have to make sure you give them plenty of time to set, because it's really, really warm today. And because we're using vegan spread rather than butter, they tend to be gooier than traditional flapjacks because the butter will firm up more. But I'm short on time today, so I have to be a bit impatient, but they're looking really, really good. And I'm going to grab one quickly and give one a go. So I've got one here. I'm just going to give it a quick go. I've gone for one of the smaller ones because, like I said, I usually take these to work and I don't want to be greedy and take one of the big ones. They are quite crumbly because they haven't fully set up yet, but I'll pop them in the fridge and by tomorrow they'll be absolutely fine. But these are going to be lovely, I hope. Oh yeah, straight away you get that hit of desiccated coconut. And I'm sorry if I'm going to get crumbs everywhere, but there's no easy way to eat these when they're still not quite set. But that is delicious. You've got like the oats there, but you also get like the golden syrup and the butter and the sugar. It's all nice and sweet. And just a hint of the cherry, because even if you don't have a whole cherry when you bite into it, because the juice has kind of seeped out into it, you get a little hint of cherry as well. It's really, really good. Oh, that's really good. I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't eat with my mouth full, it's terrible manners. Yeah, they turned out really, really well. They are delicious. They'll be really, really nice for a morning snack, morning breakfast, something to fuel you up, to get you going for the day. Like I said, they are vegan. And the great thing is they are really, really simple. They just need a little bit of time to set after you bake them. Just make sure you're compensating for the fact that you're not using butter, like I said previously. And yeah, that's it really. That is me done for the day. So I'm now going to quickly tidy up the rest of this mess, and then I am going to have a shower, and then I'm going to be heading off to Brixton to catch GOJIRA. You have to say it like that, that's the rules. But yes, that is me done for this week, and I will see you next week for another video. What will it be? I honestly don't know, but I have a few things in mind, so make sure you stick around. If you enjoyed this, give the video a like, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification thing in the corner, that way or that way, I don't know. And that's it. I will see you next time on Big Friendly Grub. Bye.